我喜欢北京和香港。我是美国人。My name is Emily. Welcome back to Language Travel Adoptee, where I show you how to learn languages by yourself, compassionate insights into the complicated emotions we can feel while on the language learning journey, as well as reviews of different programs that I've been trying out. Now, I'm currently learning my heritage language, Mandarin Chinese, and have been strictly using Mandarin Chinese Pimsleur Level 1. I've finally finished it, and I am ready to give my honest review so that you can know what's included from the lessons, how I use them personally, if I thought I actually made progress, and plus you'll hear me speak all I can from what I learned from Pimsleur. Stay till the end of the video for that. So here's an overview of what I learned in level 1, and this is not an all-inclusive list, but it'll give you a good idea about what's included in the majority of lessons. So levels are typically divided into 30 lessons, which are audio only if you are in the lowest subscription. If you're in an upgraded subscription, you also have access to flashcards and gamified review. And typically, if you do stick to taking one lesson per day, it'll take you about a month to finish one level. Lessons 1 through 10 typically start out with hi, how are you, negation if you're American, not American. Only the subject words you and I are introduced here for lessons 1 through 10. I like, I don't like, numbers 1 through 20, say you can speak Chinese well, I don't speak Chinese well, I speak English, do you speak English, excuse me, may I ask, I don't understand what you're saying, a lot of those mannerisms. You also get introduction to the 4 tones. They have you repeat them multiple times with reminders to listen to the speaker, and you can also talk about going to someone's place to eat or drink something. Lessons 11 through 20 are very heavy on numbers and directions. You get introduced on how to say this or that, and how the tones differ in those 2 words. You also get airport-related vocabulary, basic names of main destinations like America, China, Beijing, and Hong Kong, verbs like to go, to do, nouns like hotel, restaurant, road, and street, basic word order, manners like come in please, ordering at a restaurant, to eat something, to drink something, vocabulary for beer, water, tea, going to a restaurant, and I would like, plus giving an order. You'll also learn the rest of the numbers up to 100. You'll be able to tell time with the numbers, plus say what time is it, at what time does this happen, and when. Exercises to practice basic math in Chinese are also provided, which is great because I hate learning numbers in Chinese, and Pimsleur makes it really easy to do that. You also have family vocabulary, so asking how many children do you have? I have 1 daughter, I have 2 sons. You'll also learn negation with the verb to have. So I don't have, you have. You also get introduced to the subject pronouns he and she, and then also we and they in this section. No formal you has been introduced at this point, however. You can also express you are with someone in a location using expression words like really, what about you, let's say, and then you can also use location words, so saying where or there or here. You can also express it's enough, it's not enough, I have enough, as well as adjective words like it's too expensive, too quickly, too fast, too far, and we also learn the words for Mr. and Mrs. here. For lessons 21 through 30, you'll start hearing in the audio a lot more commands given only in Chinese, and Pimsleur does advise you at this point to listen to these lessons a few times in a row if you have trouble understanding the commands. And those commands can usually range from how do you say, try to say, what's the meaning of, and the meaning is. You'll also be able to say this plus noun, so this street, or that plus noun, so that street, for example. You'll also learn the numbers up to 1,000 at this point, and you'll get a tiny bit of past tense introduced, such as I went, I ate, I spoke, future situations with the I'm going to verb. Yeah, you'll also get a little bit more focus on where to put words in what order of a sentence, and then you'll also learn the transition word then or after that. There is a good review of previous sections, as well as a good emphasis on getting the tones right through pronunciation and repetition. So just a few things to note. For all of these lessons, past expressions taught, say in lesson 1, will be repeated again in lesson 11. So there's a good amount of spaced repetition already built within Pimsleur. There's always a little conversation for listening comprehension at the very beginning of each lesson, so that really gives me confidence going into the lesson because that conversation uses what you've learned in previous lessons to kind of check up where you are. There are also a lot of skits to take practice in so that you can come up more spontaneously in your head with the answers that you had just learned in previous lessons. Now, for my personal use, I would sometimes do max 3 lessons per day, maybe 2 if I could fit it into my schedule. But it is indeed the best to do 1 lesson per day. Otherwise, it is a little bit hard to review just because it's pure audio only. If you have the lowest subscription, I usually had to review a lot of the past listening exercises that come at the beginning of every lesson before that. I found that I really can't do Pimsleur doing anything else, like cooking, getting ready, etc. I could only only do it when driving. And if people were being crazy on the road while driving, then I would have to rewind the audio and listen back, just because, again, my concentration would be taken away at that point. So those are just a few things to be on the lookout for in your own experience. But all that being said, the Pimsleur method is highly effective on getting you to speak Mandarin Chinese from day one when you are an absolute beginner, as well as when you're trying to refresh the language. And it also, of course, helps with the pronunciation and listening aspect. Okay, I'm gonna try it. 你好，你好吗？贵姓别客气，我姓郑，赵 Emily。你叫什么名字？我不明白你说什么，可是我要跟你一起去饭店和酒店喝茶。Just very random sentences. 我的家人和我去了北京，我是什么时候到的？我是昨天晚上到北京的，然后我说了普通话，或者国语，我不知道，我说什么？ I don't know if I should use 国语 or 普通话。然后我看了几个朋友，我买了一点东西，我坐了飞机去美国，然后我说了英文了。你在这儿待了多久了？我在这儿待了2天了。我不是中国人，我住了在中国，可是现在我住在这儿，在美国。Oh man, this is challenging with all the tones. 你有没有时间喝茶？我没有很多时间，可是我想跟你一起喝一点东西。That's it. So do I feel like I've actually made progress with Pimsleur in those 30 lessons that were given for level 1? Yes, definitely. And because I'm a complete beginner, the listening portions are still pretty tricky, and it's hard for me to really understand which exact tone is being used. I'm especially still struggling to produce and hear the rising tone and the falling rising tone, which I think are tones 2 and 3. However, I did hear that it's wise to get familiar with Chinese through listening and speaking first before going into reading and writing. So I do plan to do Pimsleur levels 2 through 5 for Mandarin Chinese after level 1. In fact, I'm already through 5 lessons of the level 2. I also just really needed to get something that I could fit into a busy day, and Pimsleur is perfect for that for me. Now, if I had to hold an extremely basic conversation with a Chinese native speaker at this point, I could definitely do it. And if I had to pick, I would say Pimsleur has helped me a lot more with speaking than with listening. This is, of course, due to the fact that while listening to native speakers, there can be all sorts of factors influencing how they speak to me, such as speed, intonation, influence from other dialects, volume, and distractions from our surroundings as well. And Pimsleur cannot possibly reproduce all of these life situations, but their basic skit setups do help you to practice what you've learned throughout their lessons, and they are very good for practicing basic listening comprehension. They have a woman's and variations of a man's voice as well that are talking to you the whole time. I just know most likely I'll be able to speak better than I understand by the end of Pimsleur, and that's okay. Now, just because I said I could hold a basic conversation with others at this point does not mean that I'm emotionally ready to do so. For more knowing about why this is, check out more of my story about my adoption from China. Keep up with the rest of my Chinese learning journey on my channel, as well as other language learning tips. You can also get my best tips sent to you directly through my newsletter, which you can sign up for in the comment section below. Remember, your language learning story matters, no matter where you are on your journey. Be kind, be vulnerable, and I will see you in the next video very soon.